Okay, so for this monologue for week 3 now, I just want to go through what I've done so far on my portfolio, and as well as I just talk a little bit about what went on, I suppose, in last week's lab and my progress. So to start off, there we go. This is my design journey. I've taken this straight from the format that Keelan gave us already. So what I've done here with this, I've mapped out kind of where I've been kind of going and what sort of movement I've been making. It's not a linear process, as you can see. It's all over the place, really. What I found interesting is even from just the exploration stage of my design process that I've actually moved on to, and I've done little bits of investigation and research, and even just thinking about sizes, shapes, forms, all that sort of thing. And as well, I suppose, going further into my how I'm going to tackle my environmental and my social issues. So I've did a mood board as well. I had this done before. So what I've done is I've kind of just filled this with kind of things that have interested me. So as you can see, there's lots of photos there to do with travel, there's places I've been, animals. So as you can probably hear from behind me, there's chickens behind me. Chickens. There's chickens up the top of that. My dog. Things I'm interested in woodwork is there as well. So there's different types of joinery and kind of raw timber, and as well I find epoxy resin. I find that a really interesting substance to work with, which I'm actually hoping to do in this project, maybe for a small bit of it. As well, there I have actually, while I was traveling, I encountered school children in Indonesia, and that kind of made me aware to the social issue, I suppose, of how they access education in third world countries and sort of things that kind of impair them. So this is my need finding. So what I did was I kind of listed ideas. I noticed I forgot to underline the ones in the middle, but I can clean it up after. So I've got my real world issues, so I listed them out, and I thought of what was interesting me, and kind of come back to my mood board. I have animal rights highlighted as something that was interesting me. And as well, homelessness, I suppose, is kind of it's with the issues in this country at the minute, I suppose, surrounding homelessness and emergency accommodation. It is a topic which really does interest me. Then I went on to my environmental issue. So I wanted to look at water scarcity and human encroachment. That's why I kind of picked out them. I've had that human encroachment would work well with. Now I'm not actually using it directly, but it comes back to the animal rights, and that's why I've highlighted. I'm going to link that to homelessness though, but I do feel like as though there's a relationship there across the board in all of these things. So I've kind of highlighted two possible users which I feel like I'd like to tackle issues first around the right hand side. So an individual living in an emergency accommodation who requires convenient furniture which is easy to store. So that's to do with, I suppose, the nature of emergency accommodation and the fact that they have to often move from place to place. And then that's my animal one is below it then. So a dog needs constant water to ensure that they do not heat and stay hydrated. Dogs have no concept of water conservation and can create mess when using conventional water bowls. So I suppose that the real issue there is the fact that people are often away from home for a long period, whether it be work or education or anything like that. So they might not always get, the dog might not always have water, as they might knock it over, or they might use what's there early on in the day and they could go most of the day without water. So then I've kind of delved into them here. So this is where I've kind of looked into them kind of more in depth. So this is going back to my further research. So I've looked up, I've got different quotes there from different sources. So I have Focus Ireland there for homelessness, I've PETA for animal rights, UN Water for water scarcity, and Eco Intelligent for human encroachment. And this is just the start of my initial ideas. So initially I'm thinking of maybe like some sort of a slow release water system for a dog, or foldable furniture that could be used for multi-purposes, just to ensure that to ensure that the dog has water all day. It's kind of bigger as well, that he wouldn't knock it, and then the furniture is it's to save space, and as well as that you can have a multi-use furniture. so it doesn't have to just be one use. So if you see in the bottom right hand side there, there's a chair, but it falls into a stool for reaching high places. As well, I have my idea. That's my resin idea there in the bottom left. So maybe a bow tie or something like that, which could tie back the use of resins. So that's my slideshow. So I suppose the thing I want to talk about now is what went on, I suppose, in the lab. So this week I brought in a sample of my timber. So it's a pine board, 150 years old, from a convent in Mount Mellick. That's what I want to use. I went in to talk to Richie about it and look at what finishes were on the timber and how I was going to make it usable again. So we had a look at it and found that there's a top layer of varnish on it, which is put on much later, but there's an original protective bitumen layer on it, which is going to be quite difficult to remove. So Richie was kind of just going through ways about heating it up and scraping it and trying to restore it back to usable timber. It was interesting the fact that Richie was he kind of explained to me about how stable that timber should be from its age, and once you get the kind of warps and the twists out of it, it should never really twist again. But no, I suppose moving forward now, it's interesting now how my design concepts are changing, and how the brief, well, not the brief, but the confinements, I suppose, of this assignment are affecting it. I do still feel, though, however, that my initial ideas, they're still extremely open. Like there's ideas popping into my head every couple of minutes about different things I could tackle, or different projects I could try to complete, and linking them back in. So I suppose my next step really is finding what it is that I'm definitely going to work on. But no, that's it for this. Thanks very much.